Don't you just hate when you can't remember a movie's name? Like, do you remember that movie about a kid who finds an adorable little alien and they become best friends until the government tries to tear them apart?
Steven Spielberg's E.T.
No, I'm not talking about that movie. Oh, I know. I'm talking about this.
Stand ready! Hold your fire!
Allow me to introduce the award-winning McDonald's movie that no one ever saw and really, you never needed to. That is, until today.
Oh! There's something in there!
The most terribly misunderstood film of all time. Now, there have been a lot of videos on this movie, all of which have gotten it completely wrong. See, you'll go into this movie skeptical, but you'll leave feeling like you've just done this for an hour and a half. Now look, okay, the common complaint, everyone says it's exactly like E.T. But this could not be further from the truth. In E.T. you have things like acting, plot, the whole spectrum of emotional connection to character. But in Mac and Me, you don't need any of that bull. Because why have things such as character development when you can simply skip the status quo and replace it with things like immense product placement, coked up skinny fat puppeteered aliens, oh, and Ronald McDonald dancing. Now this is the creativity missing in Hollywood today. Brought to you by the Sweet Peeps at Mickey D's, Coca-Cola, Skittles, and in part by the Chicago Bears. Starring the likes of actors that they themselves want to forget. But sadly for them, these characters are simply unforgettable.
You should back me up. Wouldn't do any good.
Sure, we all remember the kid that played Michael in E.T. He captured our hearts. But in Mac and Me, they bring that character to a whole other level. Imagine Michael from E.T., but now as a cripple. I'm already tearing up. Mac and Me 1, E.T. 0. His gripping, deadpan dialogue will have you on the edge of your seats, clenching your bladder because you don't want to miss this. What sets this film apart from overhyped dramas like E.T. is the fact that in this movie, there is no acting. Just raw, dead nothing.
You sucked this living thing into a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, and then we blew him out again.
It's genius. Now on YouTube, there are countless videos reviewing this film, all pretty much saying the same thing, that it's basically trash. So bad that it's not even good bad. But all of these reviewers may want to rethink their channel direction, because most of them miss critical parts in this film that actually support the latter. Let me explain. It's widely accepted that Tommy Wiseau's The Room is a horrific train wreck of a masterpiece. But this movie is a horrific train wreck of a masterpiece on coke.
No, I can handle it. I can, really. I can handle it.
It's everywhere. Aliens drink it, people drink it, everyone is on coke. Okay, that didn't come out right.
He took my Coke, Mom.
Come on, you guys.
Beyond that, there are so many twists and turns in this film, your panties are sure to be in a knot by the end of this thing. I don't even know where to start. With the aliens' subsurface coke-filled planet, to the amazing stunts, epic McDonald's dance sequences, with even more coke. See, look, there's coke. Coke, coke, more coke. Did I mention that there's coke in this? Hey, Skittles, did you know that coke can revive the dead? Not only a fun movie for the whole family, but this has groundbreaking scientific discoveries. I mean, if you want to talk about groundbreaking, what about the part where the aliens become American citizens? Yeah, that happens. So many stories just woven into this visually eye-gouging, salt in the wound festering bag of shiny magic dog turds that is this cinematic experience. Now I'm going to warn you, the connection between the characters can often be...
I won't let anybody hurt you.
I don't know what that is, but that happens a lot. This isn't just a movie, it's an experience that will alter your entire human existence. I know it did for me. You'll walk out in such disbelief of what you just saw that you'll probably have to see a doctor, and their answer may only be this.
I'm gonna give you this mild sedative. It'll help you get some rest.
It has all the elements of an epic classic. A beginning, a middle, and thankfully 99 glorious minutes later, an end. But sadly, not everyone feels the same about Dear Mac and Me. Doing my research, I was firstly disheartened to find that Mac and Me has been gypped. A 0% on Rotten Tomatoes? You mean to say that Mac and Me has a lower score than the Emoji Movie. Ridiculous. That movie didn't have Coke in it at all. I mean, sure, you can't please everyone. So what do the haters have to say? Well, look no further than the failing Los Angeles Times, who said that this film's an amazingly bald-faced copy of E.T. in a sticky wrapper left under the heater 2 hours too long. Wait, is that really a negative review? I mean, some people like food left out for hours. Have you ever been to a Chinese buffet? Clearly, the mainstream just can't accept genius when it's put right in front of them. Probably because it's difficult to appreciate art when you have your head so far stuck up your ass. Luckily, I'm sure that the average viewer has a completely different view. This poorly done film made its way onto my cable movie channels last night, and I feel the need to have a violent outward reaction outside of projectile vomiting I experienced. Okay, first off, you have cable? Well, Glenn, that sounds a bit excessive. Really? Projectile vomiting? Sounds like more of a personal problem. I suggest counseling. Obviously, this review is a needle in a haystack of praise. Oh, here's one. Mac and me. Like a tepid burger from Mickey D's. One terrible decision layered on top of another. Very clever. Clearly, Jake here thinks he's a comedian. But I see through you, poser. Just a sour McDonald's hater. Low IQ, probably thinks Whoppers are a gift from God. I mean, there has to be someone.
There's a scene in this thing where the main characters go to McDonald's, and not long after they arrive, a random dance number starts up. This sequence is pointless and makes no sense.
Wait. You talking about this scene? Pointless, nonsense, misleading? That's a triple negative. How is this nonsensical? Haven't you ever been to the 1980s? Random dance breaks out all the frickin' time. The only talent I've personally ever encountered at McDonald's is the talent of finding new ways to screw up your meal order. Okay, yeah, they have a point with that one. Man, there's just so much negativity. There has to be one person. One of the greatest films in the history of cinema. Finally, someone with a keen visual eye for this. Now at this point you may be wondering, Ryan, how is this a misunderstood film? Everyone hates it. Well, hold your horses, okay? What most people don't understand is how important this film is as a foreshadow. What this epic tale truly shows isn't good acting, plot, or anything, really. Rather, the power of on-screen product placement. How many of you eat Skittles, drink Coca-Cola, or have been to a McDonald's? Come on, I know you don't want to admit that last one, but I see you. And more importantly, I sympathize. I mean, think about it. How little do we really consider the amount of products thrown in our face on a daily basis? In film, on our clothes, everywhere. If anything, this family-friendly, coked-up, E.T. wannabe classic was a massive foreshadow to what entertainment is and what it will more likely become about. Money. And how much more money they can squeeze out of you. After all, E.T. wasn't just some Spielberg masterpiece. It was an ad too. You remember how E.T. loved Reese's Pieces? That wasn't by accident. And even more recently, films like Avengers with Fortnite. Why do you think they put that in there? Just because of the epic meme? I think I'm seeing patterns here. Mac and Me may not be the greatest movie. Duh, it's freaking above that. Maybe it's not even the best worst movie, because it's awesome. But it definitely can be cued as a warning of what is to come, not just in film. So let's take a breath, because Mac and Me is a Coke-filled treasure. I think this quote sums it up perfectly. In all my years of watching the finest movies on the planet, I believe that this is the one. This movie has shown me that maybe, just maybe, we all have a little bit of Mac inside all of us. Remember, I'm Ryan, and I'll see you in the next video.